Hi friends, today I am going to tell you Uranus in 6th house. The 6th house in astrology is about divorce, diseases, conflicts. It's about accidents, sudden death, sudden untimely death. It's also about debts and loans. It's about service. It's about labor. It's about social service, about small animals, pets. It's about social reform. 11th house is social reform on a higher scale. It is big animals, and 6th house is pets, small animals, and social reform in a smaller scale. It's about social services, but on a smaller scale. It's also about maternal uncle and aunts. It's about tenants, about health, and it's about sanitation, hygiene, dietetics. So it's about health also, because since it's house of diseases, it's also house of health. It is about wicked act, sin, fear. 6th house also deals with extramarital affairs. It also deals with mistress. It's about Ministry of Health, Defense, Labor and Employment. It represents social activist groups. It's also about people who are into animal breeding, or animal trainers, or people who work for a zoo. They could be seen from this house. 6th house is also about stomach area, intestines, duodenum, digestive system, pancreas. When Uranus comes in 6th house, it's like having an erratic, eccentric, unconventional, independent, liberal, violent or fierce warrior in a war zone. So Uranus becomes very intense here, especially if it is conjunct with malefics or having aspects of malefic. Like if it is conjunct with Ketu, or it is conjunct with Pluto, it's conjunct with Mercury also, the effects are not really very good. In dual signs, it can give some results which are against social norm. I won't say which are not good, but because each to their own, but I will explain what I'm trying to say. But generally it gives the effect of do something which makes one think of gender identity confusion. That's what we call it, gender identity confusion. That's what researchers and astrologers have been saying about it. Because there is one myth, a Roman myth regarding Uranus, that Uranus' son Cronus, who is actually Saturn, have castrated him. He castrated him and threw his sexual organs in the sea, and from there the Venus emerged. So in Uranus in 6th house often represent people. Sometimes it gives like this kind of scenario where people have confusions regarding their gender, or they are not happy with what gender they are born with, and they go for sex transformation surgery. I got charts of few people who have in their Western charts 6th house Uranus, but in their Vedic it went to 7th. So I don't want to consider those charts, because those 6th, 7th, 8th, they all are connected in a way. I will talk about it later. And even 12th, because all are dealing with similar situations, death, accidents, sex, death, all these things, sexual organs and hospitalization. So basically when I see the 6th house planet going in 7th house, in the house changing, I am seeing effect in both it is giving effect of both the houses, the planet, any planet for that matter, so it's like how we see Bhav Chalit, so it's the same thing, so but I do not want to talk about those people who have Uranus changed to another house, because since I am discussing Uranus in 6th house here, so Uranus in 6th house because I saw the chart of Carmen Carrera, who was born a male model, but later on went for sex transformation surgery, and he is a very she is a very famous model, top model, supermodel now, you know, Carmen Carrera. And then also the doctors who do this kind of surgeries, you know, they also have sometime Uranus in 6th house. Same way veterinaries can be seen from here, because 6th house is also the house of animals and breeding and animal health as well. So veterinaries also come in this scope. And also I see like it's about food hygiene and dressing and apparel. So farming industry, clothes industry also can come in this sector, you know. And cross dressers, sometimes the cross dressers or people who dress up really weirdly. Like I saw one celebrity was like having leopard, you know, fake leopard around her body. That's all she was wearing, you know, or a peacock. That's all, fake peacock she was wearing on her body. That's all. So I mean, this kind of stuff most of us won't consider, you know. So this is one of the things which happens when Uranus comes in 6th house. Also sudden untimely deaths. So I saw many, though in 7th house Uranus is giving that more, but in 6th house also I have seen so many people who died suddenly, untimely, you know, due to some accident or assassination or some mishap they went through. Like Grace Kelly, she had an accident and she died untimely. She had Uranus in 6th house. But it doesn't matter, like if everyone has Uranus in 6th house, they are going to die suddenly, untimely. It's not like that. There are many other factors in the chart which indicates this kind of thing. So Uranus just confirm it. When other things also, other alignments are suggesting this, Uranus also is just confirming it, because basically Uranus is divine will, you know, so it is going to happen. That's what it is suggesting, you know. It's one way of looking at things. Also people who look at outer planets when they are reading a chart, they will look at Uranus position for sure, and they can reconfirm with Uranus position, yeah, this event is going to take place. Like for me, I always study Uranus, Neptune, Pluto and Chiron, and of late I am studying Cupido and Psyche also, and I think the asteroids, they are quite accurate. Chiron, I have been doing it for very long and it's really amazing, you know. But Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, definitely they give the result. So I opened the chart of many people, like Swami Vivekananda. He had Ketu and Uranus in 6th house. But he was a celibate, and he was into social reform. He was trying to achieve nirvana, probably through service to poor and helpless. He also died young. He didn't live for very long. And then Jackie Kennedy Onassis, she also had Uranus in 6th house. She died of stomach cancer, and she died at the age of 64. But of course, it's not that young, but it is not old as well. John F. Kennedy, he had Uranus in 6th house, and he was shot dead. He was assassinated, and on 23rd November, I think 1963, and he died due to injury to his brain. On the spot, he died. And his chart I opened today, and it's, you know, I mean, how Uranus is playing the role, you all can see. I mean, it is so obvious. Even the chart I opened for his, when he was assassinated, that time chart, and you can really see that how it triggered, how Uranus and Neptune triggered, you know, that event. I mean, other things were also supporting it, but as I am saying that you cannot look at just one thing. There are many things which get activated in a chart, and then this kind of event takes place. But I am going to discuss it with you guys. So there are so many things I want to discuss with you guys, but the videos become so long that, you know, I think I'll leave it to another time. Anyway, we come to Mr. John F. Kennedy's chart. So Mr. John F. Kennedy, I hope you can see it today. Mr. John F. Kennedy had in his natal chart have Virgo rising, you know, and he has his Mars and Mercury in his 8th house, means ascendant Lord is going to 8th house with Mars, and Mercury is in the nakshatra of Kritika in in 8th house. Now Kritika Nakshatra is a very destructive nakshatra. Kritika Nakshatra is, in 3rd pada, I think 2nd or 3rd pada is Algol. It really gives destructive events, So his ascendant lord going in 8th house. And in his 6th house, in the sign Aquarius, he has Uranus in Dhanishta Nakshatra, and Dhanishta Nakshatra is Mars Nakshatra, and Mars is also going in his 8th house with Mercury, and Mars is in Bharni Nakshatra. Bharni lord is Venus, and Bharni is also considered as violent nakshatra, So this is happening, and Mr. John F. Kennedy have Leo and Scorpio as Dagd sign for his natal, and the day he was assassinated also he had Aries and Leo Dagd sign. So Dagd signs also, the burn signs, they always give the result, malefic result, and whenever Leo is Dagd, it definitely it can give some this kind of destructive event, So when he was born, I mean for his natal chart, if we see the Leo and Scorpio is Dagd. So Scorpio is also Mars lordship, and the day he died also he had Aries and Leo. Aries again Mars lordship, and in a Dagd sign, So his moon is 11th lord in his natal, and it is where Saturn and Neptune are there in his natal chart, and moon is going in the sign Leo in his natal, in 12th house, and the day he was assassinated he had, and moon is in his natal, moon is in Purva Falguni Nakshatra, it's a Venus Nakshatra, and the day he was assassinated Uranus and Pluto both in Leo in Purva Falguni, exactly going over his natal moon, and his moon is in the ascendant the day he was assassinated. Moon is with Saturn in his ascendant, and Saturn is in Dhanishta Nakshatra, the Mars Nakshatra, and his Mars and his Venus are in the 8th sign Scorpio, but in 11th house, but the day he was assassinated, but in Jyeshta Nakshatra. Now you see Jyeshta Nakshatra is again Antares, very destructive violent nakshatra, Mercury Nakshatra. So the Mars, that the day he died was in 8th house, 8th sign actually, Scorpio. And if we notice when the day he was died, he was going through Jupiter Saturn Mahadasha, and it was that year was his activating his 11th house, because he was running 47. So according to Profection, if we see, or BCP, we see his 11th house was activated, and in his 11th house he has Saturn and Neptune there, So basically Mars, Venus, Mercury, Sun came together the day he was assassinated in going over his Saturn and Neptune. So this was one alignment which was also suggesting that some event is going to happen. Rahu came in his the assassin day chart. The Rahu, the red one is all the chart which is suggesting, I mean assassin day chart. Rahu was in Ardra Nakshatra going over his Uranus. Ardra is again a violent nakshatra, it's nakshatra of Rahu, and it is teardrop of Lord Shiva. So in the 6th house, with Uranus, over Uranus it's going. So if we really look at it, that Uranus coming over natal moon, and the natal and the transiting moon on assassin day is with transiting Saturn in the ascendant, we can see clearly that this all happened because Uranus and Pluto were also triggered that day, and they were going over his natal moon. So basically this kind of events I have seen in many other charts also. Normally what I do whenever I am studying anything regarding Uranus, Neptune and Pluto, or even any other planet, I also see the event chart, what time that event is happening and what planets are triggering. And most of the time I am amazed that the planets which are malefic in the natal chart, the same planet somehow getting triggered that day and giving the effect, that malefic effect, So I hope you like this video, and if you like it, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up, Take care. God bless you.